Okay, this is just for the person that's just beginning at this kind of stuff, that is feeling daring enough to tackle this kind of a job on their own, that really doesn't have a whole lot of motorcycle experience. If this falls off, it's okay. This is a dust cap. Okay, and it also acts as a spacer, so when you tighten up your front axle, it don't pinch your bearings. That red is the grease. You see the color of that grease? That is a good color to have. Right here's your bearing. Wow, my lighting is terrible. I'm learning, you guys, so stick with me here. That's your bearing right there, that red thing with a ring around it. Right there, that's your bearing, and they're sealed. So, if you ever have to get them out, look up videos on how to punch them out. You take a punch from the other side. So I would come in from here, and I would punch the other ones out, but they also have bearing removal kits, which are pretty handy. Anyway, you can see the dirt. I want to get that dirt off of there. I'm going to get the disc rotor out. I'll be handling all that, you know, get it all greasy with your fingers. The lettering goes to the outside. You should be able to read the lettering. And it's telling me that I can only go to a minimum of 30 thousandths when I go to check this, once it wears. So that's it. Just takes a drop. Now you gotta pay attention so you don't thread lock the same one twice, and there's 8 of these. So to make sure I don't want to do that. Here's a piece of wood I'll use. Anything to mark the one you started at. So I'm just gonna mark it with that. Piece of wood ain't gonna hurt nothing. A little thread lock on there. Back in the hole. Hey! And then use this tool, because they're small. You know, you can use this. I didn't when I did it before, but I'm doing it now. Anyway, we're going to do this. Oh. Anyway, I think you guys get the idea on that. So I was 16 or 16 years old in high school, and I was 14 when I bought my first motorcycle. I worked all summer with my dad. Bought a 1974 XL250, and that was when I fell in love with thumpers. Basically the single cylinder 4-strokes. The old guys call them thumpers. Okay guys, I'm in real time again. So the Tusk sent the adapter I was telling you about, and it goes on this way, and then my brake rotor will connect on it this way and tighten on there, and that'll raise it up from down here to up here to accommodate for that bigger rotor. So
you're looking for that extra, not quite ready to.
So that is how the caliper looks with the Tusk adapter. Okay, so we're gonna get the wheel on. Gotta find the speedometer block. This is the speedometer block. And it will go on the cable right here. And then it goes on to here. And it's got those little teeth, those little notches in it. Two little, I don't call them, little tabs. And those tabs, think of it as the male tabs go in here, the female. So they have to line up. And this is filthy, so I'm going to clean it. I'll be back in a minute. Flush it real good. Well, there went that gear. Anyway, there's a gear right there. You see it? And that gear turns by that gear, which turns the cable. That's your speedometer cable. This is what hooks on the front wheel I was showing you. This goes into the front wheel and wheel turns it. The gears turn this little dial in there and sends it up to your speedometer cable. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how the speedometer works on a lot of bikes, actually. Some bikes, I think, are electronic. But KLR, the good old simple. I love about the KLR. It's just still, I'm from the 80s, the era of the 80s, carburation. Hell, when I was riding bikes, they still had 2 shocks on the back. They weren't electric start. You had to kick start your bikes back then. They didn't have adventure bikes, you know, like they got now. They were just called thumpers or dual sport, on and off road. So my speedometer housing has a gear, like I said, and I took it all apart and cleaned it. And now I'm gonna pack grease all in here and drop this back this way. So I'm gonna go ahead and pack some grease in there. Get me some clean grease. And I am going to load it, baby. I want all of the dirt to stay out. So I've got that little gear in there. Just pack it full of grease. Okay, so this will go right on in here. And you just move it around until those ears get in there. And once them ears get in there, that's it. I don't know if I showed you or not, but basically you make sure these dog ears are lined up with that. So once you do that, if it doesn't fit, just move it around. It'll go on there. See, it'll snap on there. Good to go.
Well, wish no more, because it's time to laugh online with Shonda Pierce.
You haven't lived till you tour the Holy Land with about 30 Tennessee.
So now I'm gonna be putting the front wheel on. Now there's something else I want to add. This has a notch in it right here. That notch, and it goes on the fork right there. There's a notch. They got to line up so that this doesn't rotate. It's got to be locked in place. So I'm going to be setting this down. Look, when you're lining this up, you have to make sure you get that disc in between those pads. You see that disc down there is right between those pads. So make sure you get the disc between those pads. You got to do it. If you can't, you can spread the pads with some type of a flat tool, and you just push against them and the pads will back fluid back up. But more times than not, it will go in there. Very important. We're getting closer. Okay guys, so I'm gonna get this tire on, and hopefully you can see that that takes a little manipulation sometimes. Yeah. So here we go. I got the lever, I got this lined up. I got my brake rotor in between my caliper pads. I haven't lost any of the spacers that were on there. So now I'm going to take this axle bolt and I'm going to lift this up and start trying to work it in there. And I think I'm locked in there. I'm locked in. Good. And I should come out the other side. Look at that. That's what you want to see. That's exactly what you want to see. That axle bolt will come out this side. It's got some grease on it, which is good. Yeah, this is locked in. And this cable will go right here. Here, let me just do it. And this cable has a slit in it. And so you got to make sure it goes on the male side, on the inside. And you can do that by turning the wheel and it'll go on. So rotate it as you, oh come on Jim, you're terrible at this. Look, you want to rotate it so the little gear inside turns and lines up with the split part on the cable. You can't just go tightening it down if it's not splined together. You got to get them together. The end of the cable has a split. The inside here has a peg. Get it? So that's how that goes. If you don't, you'll bend it all and it won't work and you wonder what happened. You'll blame Happy Jim's KLR tire changing, disc changing. Anyway, so I'm gonna jack the bike up a little higher because my front wheel is not up high enough. I'm gonna get a little higher. Now I got a free floating rear wheel. Also, I got this motorcycle jack. It's a Pittsburgh 1,500 pound capacity ATV motorcycle lift. It's got some complications to it as far as lining up behind a bike. I'm gonna tell you guys what though, for the money, this is the best thing you can buy to get your bike up. Anyway, I'll get into that later and get back over to this. So this is what we're basically looking at with that Tusk Typhoon big rotor on there. So ain't that something? I think it is cool. I'm gonna take my axle nuts, throw them over here in the solvent, clean them up real quick because I gotta torque those and I don't, you know, you want them clean. Okay guys, this is basically the Tusk Typhoon front rotor addition to the klr650. Pretty amazing. The comparison is yeah, that's a big difference. So was an easy install. Not bad at all. I hope that this video was helpful to you guys. And Jim with Park ADV will be letting you know how the braking is. Does anybody know what these are? I'm going to show you. In your axle bolt, there is going to be a hole. And that hole is for you to be able to place one of these. And they're very important. Need a bigger one. I got a bunch of them here. Work. these are designed to do is keep that nut from backing out on its own. We just call them cotter pins. So the way I do it is tap it down in there and then fold it up. All right, guys, that's it for the Typhoon Tusk oversized rotor for the front of the KLR650. I hope that this video was helpful to you, and check out all my other videos on my channel. Go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you have any comments about this product or anything that we're doing out here, just ask, and we'll do the best we can to get back to you. Thank you again, and love to ride. Bye.